大家好啊！咁為咗大家咧可以更好咁準備 exam 咧，咁我會錄呢個短片啦。咁呢個係沉浸式學習短片啦。咁請你確保咧你本書喺附近。咁我錄嘅時候咧都喺學校附近啦，所以你可能唔喺學校附近，喺學校入邊，所以你可能聽到啲歡呼聲正常嘅。Okay, so now you can turn to your book to page 21. So we will talk about this experiment. So actually, I think we mentioned some of the contents of this experiment, right? So this experiment is about investigating if light is necessary for photosynthesis. Okay, so you may stop this video so for copying the answer, and I will skip some of the parts. So number 2, so the variable table. So the independent variable. So what's the independent variables of this experiment? It's similar to the previous experiment. This is the presence of, so independent variable is the things what we change, right? So it is the presence of light. So for the dependent variable, it's the result, or normally the point we plot on the y-axis. So this is the presence of. And then for the controlled variables, so all the things we need to control in this experiment is the temperature, supplies of carbon dioxide, water, and presence of chlorophyll. Okay, so here show the steps and the setup. So I think all of you have already copied the setup. So if you still haven't finished copying, then you can stop the video. Okay, so here are 5 points. So the result I think is so for the covered part, so it remains as brown. Okay, so because the iodine solutions will change from brown to black blue, so if there is starch, okay, so for the covered part there is no light, so no photosynthesis, so it remains as brown. So for the other part, when there is starch, then it will become blue black. It will become blue black. So what's the conclusion? The conclusion is light. So light is necessary for photosynthesis. So you may be curious about the experiment for water. Okay, so because we mentioned that carbon dioxide, water, chlorophyll, and light are the factors so which are necessary for photosynthesis, but there is no experiment provided in this textbook to prove that water is necessary. So because this is because a plant will die if we remove all the water from it. Okay, so we don't have a simple experiment for proving that water is necessary for photosynthesis, but you know that is the necessary factors for photosynthesis. Okay, so here are the key points. So you may stop this videos and then to fill the key points on your own. Okay, so I will show you the answer: the chlorophyll, light, and the carbon dioxide. So and also for the checkpoints, so we'll do it one by one. So iodine solution can be used to test for the presence of starch. So of course, yes. Okay, so we already mentioned that, right? So the green plants can carry out photosynthesis in the dark. Okay, so for these questions, we mean totally darkness. So of course it's wrong because light is necessary for photosynthesis. And let us see, carbon dioxide is a necessary factor for photosynthesis. Is right? Okay, so and then arrange the following steps of testing for starch in the green list in the correct order. So do you remember the 4 diagrams I drawn during the lesson? So the key point is 洗烚烚滴，嚟一次，烚洗滴，攞咩烚佢啊？ So we use water first, and then the hot alcohol, right? So to remove the chlorophyll, and then to wash it and to make it soft. The last step is to drop the iodine solutions, right? So it is it is 烚洗滴, okay? 烚 洗 6. Okay. And then how can you starch a plant? Okay, so which means we remove all the starch from the lid. So we put the plant in the dark for at least 48 hours. So why is it important to starch the plant before carrying out the investigation? So because we want to make sure that all the starch is produced during the experiment. So can you hear the wow wow sound? 下面有啲同學仔喺度跳緊舞啊，好興奮。So this ensures that the plant does not have any starch at the beginning of the investigation. So any starch detected is formed during the investigation, indicating that photosynthesis has taken place. Okay, so we have finished this part, and as we go to C, we go to section D, the significance of photosynthesis to other living things. So why is that so important? Of course, it's important for the plant itself, right? So because it produces their own food. But how about the significance of photosynthesis to other living things? So activity 7.2, what would happen inside? 咁簡單啲講啦，想象一下啦。So four explorers went to an island. So they test what would happen if all the plants on this island died. Okay. So only the more 俾大家感受下鐘聲。我哋一堂啦，so you may take a 3 minute break. Okay, so now, so you may read the sentence of Peter and Daniel, and then Polly, right? So and Kathy. So which statement is correct? So I know she already, I think she already has this, right? So so Daniel is correct because all the animals feed on plants and other animals, right? So if all the plants died, so eventually, so all other animals will be died as well. Okay, so this is the reasons why photosynthesis is so important. So the photosynthesis allows the plants to make the food, right? So if there is no photosynthesis, then the plants will die and all other animals will die as well. So therefore, the photosynthesis provides food directly or indirectly for the living. So here are the significance of photosynthesis. The first one, the providing food for living things. The second one, the byproduct of the photosynthesis is oxygen, right? So it can maintain the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in nature. So if there is no photosynthesis, then we keep creating and producing the carbon dioxide. So in this case, there will be more and more carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So and we will also talk about the food chains. So you have already learned this in primary school, right? So the plants can make their own food by photosynthesis. They are called producers. Okay, so for the things which can have photosynthesis is called producers. So and then the animal cannot produce food on their own and they feed on plants or other animals. They are called consumers. So they are called consumers. So here shows the feeding relationship among the living things. Okay, so we call this food chain, right? So it started from the producers and then the consumers. So the light energy from the sun converts into the chemical energy in plants. So do you remember that the energy stored in food is chemical energy? So the grass converted the light energy from the sun to the chemical energy in the food through photosynthesis. And then the consumer, so eats the grass and then to absorb energy. So for the food chain, it starts from the producer. So energy is transferred through feeding. So here shows the foot of the flow of energy. However, so the process of energy transfer, so we'll have a large decrease for the amount of energy. Okay, so see the example. So for the primary producers, so if the initial energy is 10 kJ, 10 kJ is the unit for energy. Okay, so when it is eaten by the primary consumer, so only 1/10 of the energy is absorbed. So for each level, so 1/10 of the energy will transfer. So in the other words, so 9/10 or 90% of the energies will be lost to the surrounding. Okay, so or become heat. Or as you can imagine that, so if originally the producer is 10k kilogram, okay, so 呢隻係咩㗎？咁呢個蝗蟲食咗之後咧，佢會變咗做咩啊？1000 kg， OK， 跟住隻老鼠食咗之後咧，會變咗100 kg， 跟住呢隻鷹食咗之後變咗10 kg， 所以你可以見到咧，喺食物鏈嘅越高層咧，其實佢最後得到嘅 energy 咧會越少所以咧，譬如你食太陽花咧，咁好快就可以食飽啦，得到你需要嘅 energy。但係如果你食鷹咧，其實咧背後浪費咗好多 energy。所以好多人都話食齋咧係有助環保就係咁樣嘅意思啦。Okay, so and then other examples of the food chain. So this is the producer, the primary consumer, secondary consumer. 好啦，呢個就係人類啦所以我哋最後就食晒啲塑膠同孔雀石綠落去因為我哋係食物鏈嘅最高層。Okay, so the sun is the ultimate source of energy for all the food chains because if there is no light energy, then there will be no. And then the key point, this shows the feeding relationship and the flows of energy among living things. So it is food chain, okay, food chain. Okay, so in the food chain, the plants are producers. So you may now turn to your book to page 25. Page 25. 有啲難寫不如你都係自己抄啦。So producers, and the animals are consumers. And now, so please do check point 7.4 on your own. Okay, so you may stop this video and I will show you the answer. So the construct of food chain involving these four living things. So which of the above living thing is or are producers? The grass. Which of the above living things are consumers? So what is the ultimate source of energy for this food chain? So state one importance of the producers in the food chain. Okay, so and now, so we will go to page 26. We'll go to page. We will talk about respiration. 呼吸作用. Okay, so we have learned that photosynthesis converts the light energy to the chemical energy, right? So it converts the light energy into the food. So now, how can the living things use food as the source of energy? Okay, so this topic is related to the respiration. So all our body all our activities require energy. So where does the energy come? So the energy is obtained from the food we eat. Okay, so of course, so we eat every day, right? So there is chemical energy in the food, and then it becomes other useful forms of energy. So to support our body. So for example, so when we walk or jump, we use kinetic energy, right? So so our temperature is always kept at around 37 degrees Celsius. So we need to keep producing the thermal. So now, so we will test the energy inside the food. Okay, so to prove that there is chemical energy inside. So this experiment is actually very simple. So we have a boiling tube with some water. And then, so do not let the thermometer touch the boiling tube. Why? So because the temperatures of the boiling tube may not be equal to the temperatures of water. So we measure the initial temperatures of water. We measure the initial temperatures of water. So for example, 25. Okay, so put a peanut on a burning spoon and then to heat it in a Bunsen flame. 咁呢度有粒花生，我哋燒咗粒花生。咁而家粒花生着咗火啦嘛。So when the peanut starts to burn, put it under the boiling tube. Okay, so now the energies produced by the peanut convert to the thermal energies of water. Okay, so if the flames goes out and hit the peanut again and repeat step 4, but we need to use the same peanut. Okay, so when the peanut is completely burnt, so measure the temperatures of water in the tube. So the temperatures after heating is, so for example, 55. So for example, 55. So we prove that the peanut can heat the water, right? So which means there is energy stored in the peanut. So this type of energy is called the chemical. So the conclusion, the temperatures of water increases after heating. So the water gains thermal energy from the burning peanut. Okay, so do not write heat energy. Do not write heat energy. So actually, there is some grammar mistakes when you use heat energy, because heat is already a type of energy. So if you want to talk heat with a term energy, then you can call this thermal energy. So actually, thermal energy is equal to heat. So in burning the peanut, the chemical energy in peanut is converted into thermal energy and then the light energy. Okay. 光加熱就係火。So keep on, food is the source of energy for all living things. So we prove that. So food is the source of energy for all living things. And now, so we will discuss how we can use the energy in the food. So how to obtaining energy from food by respiration. So now you may turn your book to page 28. Turn to page 28. How does the food in my body release energy? 呢個運動員你見到好多運動員咧都會中場休息嘅時候食條蕉因為可以放鬆肌肉啦，又可以 provide 咧好多 energy. So by a process called the respiration. Okay, so called respiration. Okay, so respiration involves many chemical reactions. Many chemical reactions. So it takes place in our body cells. It takes place in our body cells. So actually, the respiration takes place in the mitochondria. Synapse and mitochondria. Okay, so this is the plural form of the mitochondria. 所以咧，synapse咧就係負責咧將呢啲 chemical energy 咧變咗做the energy we can use. So during the respiration, so the cells use oxygen to break down the food to release energy. So do you familiar with this process? So for example, if we use glucose as the energy source, then the oxygen taken into the body through breathing will become energy. Okay, so and then carbon dioxide and water are produced during the experiment. So actually, it's like the reverse process. It's like the reverse process of photosynthesis, right? So for photosynthesis, the plant use water and carbon dioxide to convert the energy into glucose and oxygen. Photosynthesis, the plants use water and carbon dioxide, right? And the chlorophyll will receive the light energy and then to convert it into glucose and oxygen. So the respiration is somehow like the reverse process of photosynthesis. Okay, so if we write this into the world equation, so the glucose plus the oxygen equals to carbon dioxide plus water. So during this process, the energy is released. Okay, so that's why we break in the oxygen and then to export the carbon dioxide. 係咪？你唞氣嘅時候咧，你吸好多氧氣落去，跟住咧呼出嚟嘅時候咧，有一部分嘅氧氣咧就會變咗做 carbon dioxide because you use the energy stored in your body. So through the respiration. So we don't need to memorize the equation. Okay, so but I will synthesis. And then for photosynthesis, it's energy absorbed, right? So in this case, it's energy released. Okay, so but again, so we don't need to memorize the chemical equation, but we need to memorize the world equation. Actually, plants also carry out respirations to release energy from the food they produce. So of course, they produce glucose or starch, right? But they need to consume it. When they consume it, then there is respirations for the plant. 所以我成日聽人講啊，夜晚黑咧，嗰啲樹都會放carbon dioxide 喎，點解啊？就係因為夜晚黑咧，當佢唔做 photosynthesis 嘅時候咧。咁佢就唔放 oxygen 啦，咁但係佢仲有 respiration 喎，咁所以佢都係會放 carbon dioxide 嚇。但係朝頭早嘅時候咧，呢兩個 process 其實同時發生。朝頭早嘅時候咧，啲樹咧其實佢有 respiration 啦，咁有 photosynthesis。So to keep on the equations for respiration, glucose plus oxygen equals to carbon dioxide plus water, and then the energy is released during the process. So here is the chemical. And then I lost the relationship between the photosynthesis and respiration. So almost opposite. Okay, so here are the equations for photosynthesis. We convert the light energy to the chemical energy in the food. So we use carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so to make glucose and oxygen. So how about respiration? So the chemical energy in the food is converted to different forms of energy. So of course we can't light up, right? 我哋唔識發光啊嘛，咁所以咧我哋唔係由 chemical energy 變做 light energy， 即係唔係直接倒翻轉嘅啊。咁但係咧我哋咧個 process 好相似，咁咧 so when there is respiration, then the glucose in our body or the sugar in our body will convert into the carbon dioxide and water. So and the energy is released during the process. This may be the kinetic energy when we are running. The sound energy if we are singing, so it can be converted to different energies. So here are the tables to show the comparisons of the photosynthesis and respirations. And actually, the raw materials photosynthesis, carbon dioxide and water, right? So the product is food and oxygen. And you will see that it's actually reversed. So for the respirations, the raw materials is food and oxygen, and then the product is carbon dioxide and water. So the photosynthesis absorbs light energy. Okay, so the respiration so release the energy to other forms. Okay, so the raw materials and products are reversed for these two processes. Where it takes place, so the photosynthesis so only in plants. Okay, so the respirations in both plants and animals. So when it takes place, so under the presence of light, okay, so when there is light and there is photosynthesis, of course, the plants need to absorb water and then the carbon dioxide as well. So for the respirations, it's all the times, okay. 咁咧，無論任何時候，咁你都會用 energy 啊嘛，係咪？即係啲植物都係一樣咁所以任何時候咧都會有呢個 respiration。Okay, so and then at last the energy. So the energy is stored in food. For respiration, the energy is released from food. So during photosynthesis, the light energy is converted into the chemical energy. So during the respirations, the food is broken down to release energy. So it may not be the light energy. Okay, so it can be formed to form any other type of energy. 咁都有啲生物識發光嘅，譬如呢個燈籠魚，係咪？咁佢喺水底發光，所以其實佢都可以 convert to light energy。不過人類唔識發光啊，你唔識發光係咪？所以唔好寫 release light energy 嚇。Okay, so and then so here are the key points on page 31. So here are the key points on page 31. So you may read this page. So and then time for practice. So you may now to write down the answers on your notebook. Okay, so to check your understanding. So and I will tell you the answers. So when you come back, bye bye. 好啦，咁咧呢個 exam service 咧，咁我會喺星期五之前咧，咁就會 po 喺 E-class 度咁大家咧都要做 workbook 咁到時都會喺 E-class 度發放咁咧由於咧呢條影片係冇提早演練過咁咧希望你聽得明嘅，如果太快你就較慢少少啦好啦，咁就自己暗停佢做翻啲 exercise。好啦，咁咧瞓唔着就開嚟睇下啦，拜拜。